Arsenal transfer news. Julian Álvarez stance on £87 million switch. Emerges as manager addresses deal. Arsenal have been linked with several deals as the January transfer window continues. Arsenal could still finalize several deals as transfer deadline day approaches. The Gunners arguably have the strongest squad in the Premier League, but Mikel Arteta's side still have issues that could be addressed in the January window. The Gunners hold a 4-point lead at the top of the league table, despite their defeat to Manchester United, and continue to compete across 4 competitions. The club's immediate attention turns to Kairat on Wednesday, with Arsenal targeting a flawless 8 wins from 8 in the Champions League. While there will be plenty of attention paid to how Arteta could choose to strengthen his squad, new Marseille loanee Ethan Nwaneri has already shown how a move away from the club can be beneficial for those on the fringes of the Arsenal team. Here's a closer look at some of the latest transfer headlines surrounding the Gunners. Julian Álvarez stance Arsenal have been linked with an interest in Atletico Madrid striker Julian Álvarez during the January transfer window. The former Manchester City star has scored 40 in 86 games since joining the Spanish side in 2024. ESPN reported that the Gunners are exploring a potential summer move for Álvarez, who would cost around £87 million. Arsenal already have Victor Gyökeres, Gabriel Jesus, and Kai Havertz at their disposal. However, Gary Lineker has argued that Álvarez would improve their front line, while revealing that he knows the forward is unhappy at his current club, hinting he could be open to a move. Julian Álvarez stance on £87 million. Switch emerges as manager addresses deal. As the January transfer window edges toward its decisive phase, Arsenal's search for a clinical, elite forward has once again placed them at the center of Europe's transfer conversation. This time, the focus is firmly on Julian Álvarez, a forward whose versatility, intelligence, and relentless pressing have made him one of the most coveted attackers in world football. Reports suggesting a potential £87 million move have ignited debate across North London and beyond, with Arsenal supporters daring to imagine what the Argentine could bring to Mikel Arteta's evolving side. While Arsenal have been linked with countless forwards in recent windows, Álvarez represents something different. He is not a developmental gamble nor a stylistic experiment. He is a proven winner, a Champions League performer, a World Cup champion, and a player entering the prime years of his career. That combination alone explains why his name refuses to disappear from Arsenal's transfer radar. Arsenal's need. Why a player like Álvarez matters. Arsenal's rise under Arteta has been built on control, structure, and positional intelligence. Yet, despite their tactical maturity, one question has persisted across multiple campaigns. Can Arsenal consistently convert dominance into decisive goals at the highest level? The Gunners have developed wide threats in Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, creativity through Martin Odegaard, and depth across midfield. However, the absence of a forward who blends elite finishing with relentless off-ball work has occasionally limited Arsenal in decisive moments, especially in tight title races and knockout competitions. Julian Álvarez fits that missing profile almost perfectly. He is not a traditional number 9 glued to the penalty area, nor is he a pure second striker. Instead, he thrives in the spaces between defenders, presses aggressively from the front, and possesses the technical quality to drop deep and link play. For an Arteta system that demands collective pressing and positional discipline, Álvarez's tactical intelligence stands out as much as his goal output. The £87 million. Valuation. How the price emerged. The reported £87 million figure attached to Álvarez is not arbitrary. It reflects several converging factors in the modern transfer market. First, there is the player's age and pedigree. Álvarez is not an untested prospect. He has already accumulated silverware at both club and international level. Second, his contract situation offers selling clubs leverage. Third, the scarcity of elite forwards who can both score and press at the highest level inflates demand. For Arsenal, such a fee would place Álvarez among the most expensive signings in the club's history. That reality alone has sparked debate among supporters and pundits alike. Is this the moment for Arsenal to make a statement signing that signals their readiness to dominate domestically and compete consistently in Europe? Internally, Arsenal's recruitment strategy has shifted over recent seasons toward investing heavily in players who align precisely with Arteta's vision. Declan Rice's arrival exemplified this shift. Expensive, yes, but transformative. Álvarez is viewed in similar terms, a player whose impact could justify the outlay over several seasons. Álvarez's stance: ambition, role, and playing time. Central to the story is Julian Álvarez himself. Sources close to the situation suggest that the player's stance is driven less by money and more by role clarity and long-term ambition. Álvarez is understood to be at a stage of his career where regular starts in decisive matches matter more than squad rotation or reputation. Despite his success, Álvarez has often found himself balancing between roles, sometimes starting, sometimes sacrificing his preferred position for tactical reasons. That experience has shaped his outlook. He is believed to be open to a move that offers him a clearly defined role as a focal point in attack, rather than a complementary piece. Arsenal's pitch in that sense is compelling. Arteta's system does not rely on a single static striker. Instead, it encourages intelligent movement, positional rotation, and collective pressing. Álvarez would not be asked to adapt to an unfamiliar philosophy. He would be asked to elevate one already aligned with his strengths. Manager addresses the situation. Measured words, strategic silence. When asked about transfer speculations surrounding elite forwards, Arsenal's manager adopted a familiar tone. Calm, controlled, and deliberately non-committal. Rather than addressing specific names, Arteta emphasized the club's commitment to improving the squad with players who add quality, mentality, and adaptability. This approach is intentional. Publicly acknowledging interest in a player of Álvarez's profile would only intensify scrutiny and inflate expectations. Instead, Arteta has chosen to frame Arsenal's transfer activity as part of a broader evolution rather than a reactionary move. Behind the scenes, however, Arsenal's recruitment team is believed to be deeply engaged in scenario planning. That includes assessing financial structures, squad balance, and the ripple effects of such a marquee signing. A player like Álvarez would not arrive in isolation. His signing would influence roles, rotations, and even future departures. Tactical fit. How Álvarez could transform Arsenal. From a tactical perspective, Álvarez offers Arteta something rare: flexibility without compromise. He can lead the line, operate as a second striker, or even drop into advanced midfield zones when required. This versatility would allow Arsenal to adapt seamlessly between domestic fixtures and European encounters. In matches where Arsenal dominate possession, Álvarez's sharp movement and finishing would provide an extra edge inside the box. Against stronger opponents, his pressing intensity and work rate would enhance Arsenal's defensive structure from the front. Perhaps most importantly, Álvarez brings a ruthless edge. The ability to score decisive goals in high-pressure moments. That quality has often been the difference between contenders and champions. Financial reality. Can Arsenal justify the investment? The financial implications of an £87 million transfer cannot be ignored. Arsenal's ownership has shown willingness to back Arteta, but such a deal would require careful structuring. Installments, performance-based bonuses, and wage alignment would all play a role. However, Arsenal's improved commercial position, consistent Champions League qualification, and growing global brand strengthen their ability to absorb such an investment. From a business perspective, Álvarez's profile also offers marketing appeal, particularly in South American markets where Arsenal's presence continues to expand. Dressing room impact and squad dynamics. Introducing a player of Álvarez's stature would inevitably reshape the dressing room hierarchy. Competition for places would intensify, pushing existing attackers to elevate their performances. Arteta has consistently welcomed such competition, viewing it as essential for sustaining elite standards. Rather than disrupting harmony, a signing of this magnitude could reinforce Arsenal's ambition. It would send a message that excellence is non-negotiable and that success demands constant evolution. Fan reaction, hope, debate, and expectation. Among Arsenal supporters, the reaction has been predictably intense. Some see Álvarez as the final piece of the puzzle, the signing that could turn near misses into trophies. Others question whether such a fee is prudent, especially in a market prone to inflation and uncertainty. Yet even skeptics acknowledge the logic behind the link. Álvarez embodies the traits Arsenal value: intelligence, intensity, humility, and hunger. Alexander Zinchenko is currently in the process of joining Dutch club Ajax from Arsenal, having spent the first half of the 2025-26 season on loan at Nottingham Forest. While initially reported as a loan move, recent negotiations as of January 27, 2026, indicate the deal may transition into a permanent transfer. Alexander Zinchenko. Reportedly nearing Ajax move. Alexander Zinchenko closing in on Ajax move as Arsenal consider squad reshuffle. Alexander Zinchenko is reportedly edging closer to a move to Ajax, with discussions progressing as Arsenal continue to reshape their squad ahead of the next phase of Mikel Arteta's project. While no formal announcement has been made, sources close to the negotiations suggest that the framework of a deal is now in place, with all parties broadly aligned on the direction of the transfer. The proposed move would mark the end of Zinchenko's spell in North London and represent a significant addition for Ajax, who are seeking experienced reinforcements as they rebuild both domestically and in European competition. Arsenal's changing landscape. Zinchenko joined Arsenal with a reputation as a tactically sophisticated player, capable of operating across multiple roles. His arrival coincided with a pivotal period in the club's development, as Arteta sought to implement a positional system based on control, build-up structure, and dominance in the midfield zones. During his initial period at the club, Zinchenko played a central role in Arsenal's evolution. Deployed primarily as a left-back who inverted into midfield, he provided technical security and helped Arsenal establish numerical superiority during build-up phases. His influence extended beyond individual performances, contributing to the overall tactical coherence of the side. However, as Arsenal's squad has evolved, the requirements of the role have shifted. Increased competition, tactical variation, and a growing emphasis on athleticism and availability have gradually reduced Zinchenko's prominence. Injuries have also limited his ability to maintain consistent involvement across a demanding domestic and European schedule. With Arsenal now operating from a position of strength, the club is understood to be open to restructuring certain areas of the squad, particularly where profiles no longer align perfectly with long-term planning. Ajax's strategic interest. Ajax's interest in Zinchenko reflects a targeted recruitment approach rather than opportunistic market activity. The Dutch club is seeking players with elite-level experience who can support a younger squad while reinforcing its footballing identity. Zinchenko's technical quality, positional intelligence, and familiarity with possession-dominant systems are considered a strong match for Ajax's playing philosophy. Unlike many traditional full-backs, his ability to operate centrally offers tactical flexibility, allowing coaches to adjust structures without wholesale changes to personnel. Ajax are also believed to value Zinchenko's leadership and professionalism, viewing him as a player capable of influencing standards on and off the pitch. His experience in Champions League football and title races is seen as particularly valuable as the club looks to re-establish itself at the highest level. Player perspective. From Zinchenko's perspective, the move represents an opportunity for clarity and continuity. While his time at Arsenal has included significant contributions, his role has become increasingly fluid. At this stage of his career, regular involvement and tactical certainty are understood to be key considerations. Ajax are expected to offer Zinchenko a role that emphasizes his strengths: involvement in build-up, control of tempo, and decision-making in central areas. Such a role would reduce the emphasis on defensive isolation while maximizing his technical and positional qualities. The move is not viewed as a step down, but rather as a strategic choice aligned with footballing priorities. Financial and contractual context negotiations are believed to be progressing on terms acceptable to all sides. Arsenal are not expected to demand a prohibitive fee, reflecting Zinchenko's contract status and the club's broader squad strategy. For Ajax, the deal is considered financially manageable and proportionate to the player's experience and expected contribution. Both clubs are understood to be working toward a resolution that allows the transfer to be completed without prolonged disruption to preseason planning. Tactical implications. Should the move be completed, Zinchenko is likely to operate in a hybrid role at Ajax, either as an inverted fullback or a deep-lying midfielder depending on match context. His presence would allow Ajax to maintain structural flexibility, particularly in European fixtures where game management and positional discipline are critical.